everybody, my name is Christian and welcome back to Skycast. And as you can kind of tell, we have a webcam set up now for this new computer. I do hope everything is working nice. We do have the microphone still here, the old microphone and all that. So that's good for the most part. I do kind of want to show you guys, this is the computer actually. Ignore the cord setup right now. But here's the actual computer that we do have right now. It does look very nice. I'm using the actual webcam to show this, but this is kind of what we're using right now. And then if we kind of back it up, this is the kind of the full setup that we are working with now. Have a happy birthday thing for a birthday. And then, you know, that you got the computer over here, you got the mic and all that. So that's what we are using for this right now. So that's kind of just a setup kind of showing off what we are using for the new setup now. It looks very nice. But now we do need to get in what the point of today's video is. Multiple rounds of severe weather expected. Day 4's being highlighted. So thank you for choosing Skycast as your go-to weather. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, if we look at today, for the most part, scroll back up to that graphic, we have multiple rounds of severe weather that we are to be expected today. Multiple areas, example through Colorado, all the way east through portions of Iowa and into portions of Missouri. That tornado threat is elevated with this today, so multiple tornadoes can be expected. Not exactly expected them to be too wildly strong, but that tornado threat is there and is possible with this threat. Now notice how with this threat we do have kind of that hatched risk of severe weather through portions of this western side. That is the area that we are highlighting for that main concern for severe storms. So we change when we kind of go back through that towards the hail side. You can see that hatched risk with that as well for this side. Now if you're kind of curious on where you're looking at, tornadoes is expected to be more generally through this area where you do have that 5% tornado threat being highlighted towards the Omaha area, the Omaha Topeka area. And then that western side is going to be that more significant wind and hail threat. Those hail balls in excess of 2 inches in diameter, wind events in excess of 60, 70 knots. So that's kind of what we're expecting through that. And then you scroll down, large hail, damaging winds, and a few tornadoes will be possible from parts of the Central Plains into the upper Mississippi Valley throughout the night. And you can pause to read the hypnosis here if you would like. Then we get into day 2 where we have this big risk of severe weather through portions of generally the highest area being portions of extremely northern Kentucky into Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and portions of western New York. But we do have this long extensive area all the way into portions of Colorado and New Mexico through the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. And for that threat is going to be that damaging wind threat and maybe even some hail in excess of about 1.5 inches in diameter with that, not exactly too high, as we are looking at that tornado threat though through the more slight / marginal area up here. You do have that 2% to 5%, so once again higher elevated tornado levels can be seeing that tornado potential with that. Scroll down to the hypnosis. Scattered damaging winds and a couple tornadoes are possible from Saturday. Ohio into northwest Virginia, central and western Pennsylvania, into New York. And you can pause to read the hypnosis here if you would like to. Then we get into portions of day 3 where we have multiple areas of concerning severe weather. One being over here towards the eastern coast where we do have this kind of that slight risk of severe weather all the way up the coast. And then you do have that marginal risk stretching all the way down into portions of Georgia. And then we have this other area over here of severe weather with that slight risk being issued towards portions of Montana and into North Dakota. Probabilistic of this being severe is once again slightly elevated for this time, being a 15% through portions of each slight risk, 5% through portions of the marginal risk areas, and then multiple general thunderstorms, scattered severe storms possible, but scattered thunderstorms with that being issued for all these areas that are being highlighted in that light green area. Scattered damaging winds are possible across portions of the mid-Atlantic, northeast on Sunday. Hail and severe gusts will also be possible from Montana into western and North Dakota, and you can pause the hypnosis to read this if you would like. And now one thing that we haven't seen in a little bit is the threat on the day 4 through 8 outlook, and we do have this area of concern through portions of Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and portions of Minnesota. I almost forgot the name. Minnesota and Iowa. with that through this area. All threats on the table, and we always talk about on this channel about how when they're on the day 4 through 8, just for the fact that they're able to be predicted that far out, you do have that elevated threat for storms. And that does not mean that this is going to be some big old tornado outbreak. Just means that this is being able to be predicted further out, which means that that does have that probability of becoming more of an upper level severe weather event with this. So we are continuing to monitor this. Something I do want to shift towards now, though, is the tropics. That's mainly where the focus of this is going to be going, because we have a big area that we need to be concerned. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the area that we are of concern is over here towards the east of the Lesser Antilles, and we have this big area of concern. That's a very bad circle, but we have this big area of concern that we need to be watching. One being a 90% chance of development, and this other one being a 0/20%. So once again, this is going to be very high chance of development. Now, I do want to come over here and focus on this one really quickly. We do have a 30% chance of developing, so overall this is low. If something does form, though, it will likely move west to the northwest towards portions of Mexico. This is very unlikely to form, though, as of now. That can change, just like this one, which we're going to come back over here to this one now. And you can see that this is a very likely area to see this develop. And you can see if we kind of roll through it and kind of zoom in and kind of just roll through the runs, you can see that spin in it. Kind of watch generally this area, and I'm going to replay it again. You can see, let me replay that. You can see that spin in it. So you can, yeah, right there, you can see how much it's spinning. That is expected to become some sort of tropical storm. Could even become a named storm. Next name on the storm is Beryl. So that could possibly be that next named storm, but that will rapidly gain intensification over the next portion of June. And then we get into something of a little bit of concern, because we have all these islands right here. The American islands, so just north of South America. This is going to rapidly gain strength, likely will get hurricane status from what the models are predicting. You can see that with the eye and all the swirlies in it with that. But if we kind of play it through, this is expected to make some landfall towards the southern side of these islands. With that, you can see, once again, let me highlight the islands. They're being about right in here. And this is expected to hit right into them, and we can't really predict what strength it's going to be, but I would go on a limb and say that it will be some sort of hurricane status. And you can see, even after the islands, it still has that very decent look with it. Now, as it does get over here into portions of this area, it's kind of hard to tell where it's going to go, so I'm not going to go far to predict that, but it is fairly easy to say that the islands will get something from this. So you need to be on guard, you need to be paying attention to the weather, and just going to continue to watch this. You can see even near Jamaica, very intense look with this. So we're just continuing to watch. This could become our first named hurricane, not our first named storm. Already had that one over here towards Mexico and Texas, but could become our first named hurricane with this. So besides that, that's all I have for you guys today. I thank you so much for tuning into Skycast and watching. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll answer them when I can. Thank you for choosing Skycast as your go-to weather. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe.